2 days, 3 days. Yeah, so it looks like you're in good shape to find something, and then you'll be able to sell. And I'll give you a call back next week just to check in on you to see if you want me to tweak anything on the search, if you want me to change anything. And other than that, I'll get you all set up, and we'll talk next week. Okay, Anton? Okay. Thank you. No problem. Take care.
All right, good. I mean, I let the whole thing go because, sometimes we're just so micro. Sometimes it's good to hear a whole positive narrative all the way through. Pat, what you did really well here was you were conversational, which I think has always been your strength, but you didn't get weird with all this resume-ish stuff that interferes with just a simple conversation. And Sarah, that's what he does well. I mean, and again, in the past when we've listened to these calls, and it was no fault of your BDAs, it's this weird adherence to this ridiculous script we just stick to and we're not listening. He listens super well here throughout the entire thing. He recognizes when there's something about, the conversation about, there's a condo to sell. He respects the fact that the guy is laid off and will not be back to work for a couple months. He makes a good, clean offer to upsell to the MLS without going over the top and making it this huge, grandiose thing. It's just, hey, this is the source. Would you like to also be set up there? And, maybe you drop in, Pat, a couple words like it's the exclusive source. It's the main source, which you did. But maybe you just hit that beating even more working on that offer, because that's the offer moment of upsell. Now, one thing that I would also suggest is that when you found out about the condos, hey, by the way, in the search, I'll include some stuff about condos, where, and I can't remember in the call because it was longer, did we get the address of the condo? And if not, we should have. And then we could have said, look, in this search, I'm going to include also, and maybe I'll do a separate search, but we'll put some stuff for the condo so you see what's selling around you. So we warm you up there. So we would have hit the buy side set up and the sell side set up in different beats. But that's a higher level. That's an advanced, mindset. Relationships here. He's appreciative of what you're doing. You're concise. I thought your concision, which is Autumn's number one pet peeve on these calls, as we help you get our success duplicated, that's what I felt. I felt you were very concise and conciliatory to his situation, and I thought it was good. So again, my critique, which is trying to just bump you even up another level, is really, hit those beats, which it did really well about the buy. Said how much, where it is. Be careful of the language. It's a little subtle there. It's like, well, that might work, or maybe we can make that work, or whatever. Always be totally positive. Super. That's great. We'll make that work. Right? Just subtle, because I'm looking for stuff here, because it's not anything but good. We're talking about, let's go to the next level, right? Each spot's a plateau because you're pro level here, but I want to go pro plus. So as you go up there, it's the listing side of it that, my ears really came to life when I heard him say that. That was most interesting to me as a guy that does this job. I'm like, get that side of it. Let's get some stuff going. Let's get a seller, immediately my offer would be, let's get a whole seller booklet out to him on that. Hey, listen, since you're thinking about selling that also, is this the best mailing address for you? I'm going to send you some stuff about the condo. I know it's not time yet, but now that I hear you want to sell it, let's get that at least, moving in the same direction. So that was the next level of what I thought could have been done. But again, that's just, thinking. Just, on your feet. But this was super, super smooth. Really nice, Pat. Pat, are you muted? Because unmute yourself, because I want to hear what you thought of it. Or Sarah. I muted you all when you first started the call.
I'm not sure. I know Pat is on the call. I don't know. He's been having issues with his mic before. So, okay. But no, I'm really proud of Pat and, the progression.
Hello.
Of the
yep, there you are.
there you are.
Buddy,
okay.
I think I found
I'll let him talk.
Hold on. Yeah, I think I found you. I saw the 613 number and I just took a shot. Is that you, Pat? Oh,
yeah, that's me.
Yeah, all right, brother. Go ahead. I found you.
Yeah, so what I was getting at was I completely agree with you. Obviously, I want to get into the sell side a little bit more. I was actually looking at his address and the condo that he owned while I was on the phone with him. I already knew that he owned the property, but I wanted to have him tell me that.
Yeah.
And then next week when I call him to check in on him, I'll get into the sell side a little bit.
Yeah, good. And again, like I said, it's just such a good call that I'm thinking aloud I'm using my intuitive approach. What would I want if that was Adam? Good. Let's get a little more info on this. And remember, Pat, I think the key point here that you're beginning to really just Get it. It's simpler. And Sarah, for you to be able to communicate this to Tarek and Steve, less is more. I mean, Pat didn't need some big thing here to connect with this guy. He verifies the information. And because he's doing a good job of that, the guy begins to read his mind aloud, right? And so like, Pat, you see the difference? If we just ask a couple of the right provocative questions, the next thing you know, this guy's reading his mind aloud and you're getting everything that you want to get. Instead of these corny questions, just by you taking him along a better journey on the phone, he's feeling very comfortable with you. And so am I. And I've felt sometimes when I listen to you and Dave in the past and Sarah, et cetera, everybody on the BDA side, I felt uncomfortable. I didn't this time. I felt like that guy sounded. I was very comfortable writing. That's why I let the whole thing go. I'm like, wow, I like this call. I like the tone of it, right? Let me get the whole thing without interrupting it, because this is what a good call sounds like, right? And more than good, Pat, it's effective. It's a buy sell. I mean, this is super effective. So bravo. It's a 10 for me. I just think that this is the next level. I would leave it to you, depending on I guess the feeling for, is this guy in a hurry? I mean, because there's no reason to wait till the next one. Say, oh, I saw under your name here that there was this condo too. Is this the right condo? I think you'd be impressed that you did your homework. Whereas like Stefan, who's not as, down the line in this training as you are. See, that was what Stefan can look at and see is like, if he was athletically ready like you were, you had all the information in front of you. You were athletically ready for this call. And I don't think it would have hurt you to say, hey, is this the address here? Oh, super. Yeah, that's great. You know what I mean? Like, that's impressive to people. As you could see in the first call, it was almost perfect. We took them in this order because when you see in the first one, the guy's like, well, you didn't do your homework, right? And he was harsh. And we need those guys. They keep us on our toes. But you were ready. And your guy was easier, albeit, but you were ready even if he wasn't. So I just really liked it. I'm glad you shared a positive one, Pat. You're really good at this when that's who you are. Really good. And Sarah, the boys need to hear this if they haven't heard this particular call, and they need to hear that I give this 5 out of 5 stars for where we're at. Obviously, I'm never satisfied because I think we can get better, but the reason why is I want the team leaders that don't do this every day to hear why I say, if we can just hit the beats, good things happen. But you get all caught up in, why didn't you say this? Why didn't you say that? No, did he hit the beats or not? This is super effective, super smooth. Follow-up is really set up well now, right? And we know he's got the timing down cold because of the way he goes about it. I loved it. Proud of you, Pat.
I'll make sure that they hear it because it's super important.
Yeah. Well, Pat, I'm a fan of that guy right there. When you're that guy, I'm a big fan. When you and Dave and everybody gets weird and off into these poppy fields, that's my job to get the cattle prod out and zap you back in, because there's what you sound like at your best, man. That's conversational, but still getting his beats and still not like it's still scripted, Pat. I get it, but it doesn't sound like it at all. Bravo.
Awesome. Thanks for the feedback, Dave.
Yeah, you bet, dude. I'm happy for you. I just think that's good because I know, Pat, you know why I'm going a little bit overboard? I know in the past, like on you and Dave, you guys are such great guinea pigs to come to this call, throw yourself headlong. Sometimes we have to be super critical. That's a good improvement, right? But remember, we snap back from that, right? We snap back. We become an older version of ourselves when we're not having a good day. And that's why I think I knew you were athletically ready for that call. So even on the crappy days, try to get that set up, right? Just his condo was in front of me. This thing was there. I knew what we were talking about. Looks like you're looking at this. Let me tweak this. Great. Was very athletically ready. And that's the difference. No matter what kind of day or the circumstances with COVID and riots and all this, you were ready to serve, and he appreciated it. Bravo. Everybody, that's a good call, right? Go back and listen to that one. All right. Sarah, anything else there that you wanted to add, or you just gave me Pat's, right? I didn't have another one.
Yeah, this time I just gave you Pat's. We're having an issue with the recording over some of the voice over IP, but we'll have, I'm going to send a few more for next week.
Okay, cool. No sweat. All right, look at, let's go to the next. Thank you two so much for giving us a nice chunk there. And thanks to Stefan and Helena for teeing us up. Boy, what a great evolution you can see, because Helena and Stefan working together in California is no different from Sarah and Pat working together in Canada. You can see it's the same, and they're both at that continuum of educational levels where you can see these guys are a little bit ahead of where they are, but this was no different for Sarah and Pat and Dave and the rest of the gang, right? I mean, you can see how improvement just comes to you when you work on this and you become more so cognizant of a better way. So very cool. Yeah, I like it when it works like this. All right, next we have Kyle and Jonathan is in the Philippines making these phone calls, and Kyle is playing the same role as Helena and Sarah in organizing it all. And so Kyle, can you tell me what email you sent those to so I can find your stuff too?
I sent it to both Danny Boy Griffin and Danny at thegriffin.co.
Got it. Here they are. I got you. So I've got a couple, Toonie and Eduardo, and Russell, by the way, I see yours there too, Randy, Jovan, and Sarah. So we'll go to you right after this. So you could be ready for that. All right. So Kyle, we think that we have a rough call with Eduardo and we need some adjustments. And then Toonie sounds pretty good. Yeah. Want to give us any background here, or is that good enough?
That's probably good enough.
Okay, here we go. Jonathan, you on with us? Whoop. Is Jonathan on with us?
Yes, Dan.
Hi, buddy. How you doing, man?
Hello. Doing great.
Okay. Thank you for coming to the hot seat. I know it's never fun. And so I haven't really had a lot of opportunity to work with Jonathan yet. We've done a little bit. So we'll go gently into it like Stefan. You don't know what you don't know yet, right, Jonathan? So I know you're an expert at this from other methodologies, but let's listen to this one, okay? Here we go.
Hello. Hello. Toonie?
Yes?
Yes, this is Nathan with Remax Champions, and I'm calling you because I saw your beautiful home online and noticed that it didn't sell. So I'd like to send you something that will help you sell it next time. May I do that?
Dude, if you can do that every single time, I know I didn't realize Toonie actually was here first, so I know this is the better of the two. If you can do it at that pace over and over and over again, you cannot help but be successful. That was beautiful, right? I mean, it's just, you're so articulate, and you have a different flavor to your voice, than the other guys. And it just goes to show everybody that no matter where you are, if you can just find that kind of right pace for you, you just sounded great. So your intro, which is probably one of the hardest parts to keep people disciplined on. You can't believe, Jonathan, how many times I get a call here and I don't even know where did that intro come from. But I'm only 20 seconds into this recorded call, and I think there was a little bit of a delay, even so. And you have concisely and perfectly articulated this, right? I mean, bravo. Another great call. Let's keep listening.
Sure.
See what he gets? 2 seconds later, it's a sure. I mean, this is my point about this. Once we find a wheelhouse, per se, or something that works, that's definitely beneficial sounding to the consumer, the answer is almost a rhetorical yes, meaning they're not even thinking anymore. They're just reacting to this. He doesn't really even have to think. It's like, duh, that's an offer I can't refuse. You're going to send me some information that will help me sell my house? Why wouldn't I say yes? Right? We know why in Stefan's case, because it wasn't either one of those were no longer available, right? So that's why he got a no. Here we go. Oh, hold on, I get stuck. Let's go back and listen to it again. Might have to start it again. Bear with me, I have to refresh the screen. Kyle, any thoughts there? Will I refresh that one? It just got hung up. Any thoughts?
No, that was the good one. And pretty much every call that I've listened to recording wise starts off with that same pace. The only time that pace changes that I've heard so far is when the other person on the phone starts being a little pushy.
All right, I'm going to go to Eduardo. Let's just go to the negative one. We'll come back to the positive. We'll finish it. Here we go. Let's just see it.
Hello, Eduardo.
Yes.
Yes, this is Nathan with Remax Champions, and I'm calling you because I saw your beautiful home online and noticed that it didn't sell. So I'd like to send you something that will help you sell it next time. May I do that?
What house is that?
Oh, the one in 14063 Havasu Road in Apple Valley.
Oh, no way. It's not for sale.
Oh, so you mean you decided not to sell?
Yes.
Well, Eduardo, the package is free, and maybe this might be a valuable information to you whether you'll use this or not. And there's no obligation. So may I send this to you? May I still send this to you?
Okay, I can win this.
All right, Jonathan, this is good. I mean, I like that you're pushing back here a little bit. It's just that what I said to Pat and complimented him was you want to hear what he said, which was, and it was tough to understand him, but you did a good job clarifying. Oh, you decided not to sell? Okay. Well, you know what? I'd still be happy to send this to you because, maybe it would help you down the line if you change your mind again. So may I send it? You know what I mean? Try it. It's subtle, Jonathan, but just listen to what he just said and react specifically to it rather than just pushing for the sake of pushing. You follow me?
Yes.
Because you might be, I like where you're going with this though. I like it. I like the aggressive deal, trying to get in there. I like it. I'm a fan of this. Okay. So I think the idea is push him, but because you listened to him. Oh, you decided not to sell? Did your plans change? That's the best thing that we could ask, right? Because now we say, well, wait a minute. I don't want to just push and have Kyle have to listen to this and make a decision. Like, oh, did your plans change? Because remember, we only really want information going to people who have a need to buy or sell in the near future. And in our determination, the near future preferably is 6 months and long-term inside of 12 months. Does that make sense to you? So like don't just push to get the package out without finding out if his plans have changed and he's not even thinking about this inside the next 12 months because he lost his job, there's no way he can sell, or he was going to move to another state and the job wasn't there. You follow me? It's really important. Let's listen to the rest of it.
Okay, perfect. Well, may I confirm that the best mailing address is 1481?
Yeah.
Perfect. I'll call you next week to make sure you receive this information, Eduardo. Oh, by the way, why were you trying to sell this property before?
Good. I love it. I mean, again, I thought that sounded very conversational, Kyle. I like the transition. Let's see what the guy says.
Why?
Why were you thinking of selling the property before?
I just wanted to sell it, but I changed my mind.
Okay, got it.
All right, well, don't say, okay, got it, because now you're rushing. He wants to talk. He wants to talk to you. Be human here. This is where it becomes very human. Yo, you changed your mind, huh? Something changed in your life? Your plans changed? See if you can get it out of him. Because not everybody's easy, but this guy's soft. He's, this is not some hard case. He's soft. He wants to talk. And it's almost like you're rushing now, right? Okay, I understand. Well, you don't understand. You don't really know why his mind changed. So let's listen.
Okay. So on a scale of 1 to 10, Eduardo, how motivated are you to sell it again?
All right, now you're just trying to get all the questions asked. See what I'm saying? Now you've become now it's too rushed. These questions are there to try to ask. Let him talk. You don't have to rush to the next one because we still don't know why he decided not to sell. So why am I asking him about his motivation until I let him express himself? He will support your conversation, okay, better if he feels engaged, but you're rushing him here.
No, I don't want to sell it right now.
Okay, got it. Well,
see what I mean? You rushed him. You rushed him. Now he thinks you're pushing him. So you lost him. The questions are the right ones, but, oh, really, why'd your plans change? Just lay back. We're not in a hurry. This is only 1 minute, 37 seconds. This is good because there might be something in this call where Scott or Kyle identify his why, And maybe Scott now takes it over and just picks up the phone and said, hey, I know you're talking to Jonathan at the company, and I know we sent you out a package. And it sounded like, you got frustrated with the agent, or, like, you were worried about not finding a place. We can solve that, right? You hear what I'm saying, Jonathan?
Yes, Danny.
Okay. But you're real close here. That's the good news. You understand the chunks of the script, Jonathan, which is good. You understand the beats and you're trying to get them there. It's just that in the second half, you're rushing. Why? And how motivated? How motivated doesn't even need to be asked, right? It doesn't need to even be asked unless we are further down the line. You know what I mean? Like if he's really like, geez, because now you're just trying to determine, should I get Scott out there today or in a couple months? That's the how motivated are you? It's really more about why. Why were you doing this in the first place? Why did you change your mind? That's good conversation. And most people, when they hear that, they know you care because you're asking about them. Why? Why did you do it? It looks like a great house. Why'd you try in the first place? What made you change your mind? Like you want specifics. And if it ended there, great. But at least you could bring back to Kyle, here's why I think the package should go out. And to Scott, here's why I think you should get on the phone with this guy. Right? That makes sense to you?
Yes, Danny.
Okay. Any thoughts, Jonathan? Any questions? Because I love your pace. I think you're really good at this.
None so far.
Okay, good. Yeah, pretty clear. It's pretty clean. Kyle, your thoughts on this before I move on to the next set of calls?
Yeah, I just really like both of these calls, especially listening to them together. That first call, which was the good one, he listened and was a lot more patient with the guy.
Yeah.
And the guy gave him a lot of great information.
Yeah.
And that was a very good yes to the package going out on that first call.
Yeah.
That troublesome call, I agree, just need to listen a little bit more. And then I think me and Jonathan need to refine some of the responses and really look at how we're responding to certain things, to not push through the script so much as let it flow on its own.
Yeah.
And then knowing when to get off the phone.
Yeah. But he's so close to already good. I mean, we're not dealing with a tactical, pacing thing, or he's not blowing questions off. He's trying to serve properly, the systematic approach, and it's working, right?
Yeah.
So,
and him rushing to the motivation question might be my fault, because that is one question that I use the answer to, especially in that type of a call where, we might not send this package out. I'll use that answer to the motivation question as the final determination as to whether or not I'm going to send that. So that one might be on me.
Yeah. Oh, but it's okay. I mean, look, I don't think this is on anybody. I think the great news is, after all that time of trying to figure out a solution for this, holy moly, are you guys really super close to something special here, right? I mean,
yeah, he's doing great. I'm very happy with it.
For sure. Jonathan, this is pretty darn good for a new technique. I mean, that you're just starting to learn. Just slow down. Don't rush. I know you're trying to serve us in what we want you to do. I get the Filipino culture. You're pleasers. I don't necessarily want that. What I want you to do is be you as a human being when you get there. Your slow pace in the beginning should be matched in the second beat, because it's now in the second beat, it's the quality. Why were you trying to do it in the first place? And listen, let him talk. If he doesn't give you enough, maybe you use the second question. When you first listed it on a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated were you? These questions are meant to provoke them to open up to you. And that way the recording is there so that Kyle and you and Scott can make quality decisions about the follow-up. Okay? Make sense?
Makes sense, Danny.
Yeah, good job. Good job, boys. We're very proud of both of you.
Hey, Danny?
Yeah, go ahead, Paul. Yep.
I got Sarah Prettyman on the phone. She's the new agent with me, and she just started dialing this week, and she also had her first showing, and I was hoping that you could chat with her a little bit.
I can. Sarah, you stay there. You're into the bonus section. Russell's up next, and Sarah goes after. And Sarah's been diligent in being on calls, which I appreciate because I've seen her name multiple times. So, Sarah, you just stay right there, okay? Please. Russell, you're in the hot seat. Come on in, buddy.
All right.
All right.
I'm here.
So I probably won't be able to do all four. So I've got Randy, Joven, Sarah, and Kaio. You pick the first one you want to do. Maybe we'll probably grab a couple, just depending on how long.
Let's go with Joven.
Okay. Here we go.
This is Russell with Wise Barth and Associates. I see you had registered on our property search website, and I just want to make sure everything was working out well for you.
Yeah, everything was working out for me. I'm actually I'm looking around right now. I'm just checking things out. So,
okay. Are you thinking about making a move sometime soon?
it's not going to be anytime soon. It's probably going to be like 6 months from now.
6 months from now. Is that when you'll start looking, or did you want to get moved by?
That's when I plan on moving again. 'Cause I just moved into this place that where I live at now. And I know my lease is up in 6 months, but that's what I'm looking around right now. But I know definitely Seattle is the area where I want to go.
Okay. So you're renting now?
Yeah, I'm renting now.
Okay. So if you could find something within 6 months, did you want to maybe make a move sooner, a little bit sooner? That way you have some time to, pack up and get things moving.
Yeah, that's why I'm already starting to look right now. I appreciate you calling me though, because I was like, who's this calling me? I was like,
good.
Well,
good.
Do you have a realtor to help you with the whole
Good.
buying process?
Real good.
When the time is right.
No, I don't even have I don't have a realtor because I know it's different for every state. Out here I do, but I'm not in Seattle. So.
Oh, okay. Are you in Seattle already?
No. I'm actually located in McChesney Park, Illinois.
Good.
Oh, well, okay. So you'll be out here in about 6 months then, right?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay. Well, what we can do for you is we can get a search setter for you directly on the Northwest MLS. That's the primary source for all the homes for sale from all the different real estate companies. I'm not sure if you know how the system works here, but
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not sure about how everything works out there yet. So.
Yeah, there's only that one primary source. All the websites get their information from there. So if you're if you're going to be serious about buying a home, you really want to get your information from the Northwest MLS. This way, you have the best and most accurate information, and we can even go over the whole home buying process to make sure you're aware of what to expect, and that way you are successful once you do find the right home. Do you think this would be helpful?
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Cool.
Great. When can we schedule maybe like a phone appointment or a phone meeting with one of our agents? They'll get in touch with you, help you set up that search, and also go over the whole buying process and share with you how we work with buyers to make sure you are successful. Are you more available mornings or afternoons?
I'm more available in the mornings because that's right before I start doing everything. Because right now I'm getting ready to go to work now and well, not go to work, actually start doing work.
Right. Before I keep going on this one, I just would say again, really everybody today has done such a good job with tone and pace. I mean, not one of you is stumbling and fumbling. You're making, I get it that you're hitting the beats Duran wants you to hit. You're hitting them perfectly with a conversational tone. This is certainly one of the best calls that I've heard from you. You're back to being yourself again in this call, much like I said the same to Pat, right? This is the highest level of you, Russell, right? Russell?
Yeah, I'm here.
I do. Yeah. That's a compliment. This is the highest level of you. This is good. Okay. So it goes on for quite a bit more time. If I played that versus listening to a different one, what would I be learning about this call? Are you just getting logistics down, or are you making another offer of some sorts? Because
yep. I asked him a couple more questions at the end. I think this basically what you guys had suggested in the past about Dawn wants to know what like the price point and their location.
Yeah.
And then also their motivation, like on a scale of 1 to 10. So I went
Good.
through those 3 questions.
All right, good. I'm going to listen to it because I think that's right. I think what you did, like an expired call on the buy side here, you've locked up the first benefit. I'd like to send you some information that would help you. I'd like to book an appointment with the agent that can set you up directly in the MLS. Good. They're the same thing. Beat number 1 is done. Let's go listen for the second beat of why are you doing this and how motivated are you, okay? That's essentially the same thing. Excellent. I'm glad I asked because I'm just going to use this call then. Hang on.
So, but morning times really work for me because in afternoon times I'll be super busy because I do so much stuff. So,
how does next Wednesday sound? Let me see. It's about almost 11 there, right? About 10:45 over there in Illinois.
Yep, that's correct.
I'm just looking at our calendar. Actually, maybe do you think next Thursday would work for just a phone meeting and kind of like a consultation with one of our agents? They'll help you out, figure out the whole process. And
you don't have to keep going back to that. Like, you already nailed this. Like, just stay all business here. What day works? Good, because you're going to confuse him if you keep reiterating that. You know what I mean, Russell? Like, no need. You got it. That's almost like you're trying to kill time. And don't confuse him. Stay to the appointment.
You started with the search on the Northwest MLS.
All right, yeah, that sounds good. Well, what time in the morning would you guys talk? About the same time this time?
How does?
Oh, we stalled here. All right, let's move on because I get it. And if you went on to hit, questions, did you get his timing? Was there a real reason to move?
He said his motivation was a 12.
There you go.
He didn't give any specifics as to why.
Yeah, who cares? Right? Yeah. I mean, if he says he's a 12, there's a why inside him. He might not just want to say right at the moment. He might not want to express it at the moment. Could be myriad number of things, right? So just leave it alone. He says 12. He's motivated. You've done your job. Let's put it that way. You've done your job. And at a high level, because you've gotten everything to tee this up. It's no longer, something that you can really control any more of the outcome. You've done your job. Good call, Russell. This is I'm glad we got a good one from you too. This is you at your best. If you can stick to this, again, I want you to listen to your own calls and see, where do I repeat myself? Stop doing that. You don't need to. You're really good. So when you went back into just book the appointment, I don't know whether it's you're stumbling with the calendar at that moment. Same advice would be, have the calendar ready. Have it opened. Everything is concise all the way through. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job, though, man. This is like you're getting back to yourself, too. This is the business guy. But, I think you might have been rusty or something when you first came back because it just sounded too fumbly to me, and that's not you. This is you. But I can see a problem. Don't keep going back to an offer that's already been given, right?
All right.
You gave it.
Yeah.
He accepted it, booked the appointment. By the way, why are you moving from Illinois? Right? Right?
Yeah.
Boom. Why are you moving? And remember, the why question is more quality. It's more qualitative. It allows them to express to you their story. And oftentimes their timing comes out anyway, right?
Yeah.
So but if it doesn't, or it's not clear, on a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated are you to get this done in the next 6 months, like you said? I'm a 12. Awesome. Let's get you rolling. Right?
Yeah.
Cool. Excellent. Good job. Sarah, and Russell, you and I can go over some of these others, privately with you, me, and Maxie. Maybe we'll circle back next week and just do a quick, 3-way. And you give me some of your tougher calls, and we'll beat it up a little bit. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, cool. Good job, though. All right. Sarah, how are you?
Hi, Danny. I'm doing good.
Good. I love your background, by the way. It looks like a nice little hammock on the beach. I dream of that place.
Yeah, for sure. It's where I want to be.
Sarah, with all this stuff here, questions from you is probably a better way to approach it with you, because you've been diligent in showing up on these calls. I know, because I've seen you on there before. Just give me your overall thoughts. I mean, what gives you angst? What feels like it's too much? What feels like it's not in order? I guess is the way I would ask you a question.
Well, like what Paul said, I started calling for the first time, and I think it feels, I I obviously don't know. I've never made calls for someone else, but when you're calling for yourself, I feel like you have that please pick me mentality where you get a little rushed and you get a little excited. So that was kind of my question as far as like staying in your center with just maintaining your most authentic self and not rushing through a script, but not being overly human to where you're just kind of bouncing around in different ways. And even really with showings, how to read people well. And, you know, some people want to be left alone. Some people want to ask you all kinds of questions. And so that's kind of
it's what an excellent, it's an excellent summary. Let me grab it. I'm going to stop it there before we lose those two beats. We talked about this yesterday in depth with the mastermind and then the campfire calls, which are the basics, right? Remembering all the while that in either of those contexts, on the phone for yourself, on the phone for somebody else, in the field showing a property, in the field walking through a house to evaluate it, it's still all, relatively speaking, the exact same thing. You are serving in that moment as a guide, serving as a guide, serving as a guide. So to not just get caught up in the good connection, because I had one of my mastermind members said we had a good meeting. And I said, why was it a good meeting? Because it was a good connection. We started talking about this. Yes, that's one part of it. But what we have to remember is we are professional guides. I might like you, but I might have a lesser human connection with the other guide. But the other guide's like, look, you got to sit down in the boat when we first hit this first rapid, or you're going to get pitched right out. You're not even going to be able to enjoy the rest of it, right? Because it's going to take me about 10 minutes to get you back in the boat. So why don't you just hang tight here, because then we go here, then we go here, and then we get to see the eagle flying over the cliff here, right? I'm saying this from a real whitewater rafting trip that I went on. They just were like, here's what we're going to do. And if you do these things, you can have a blast. If you don't, you're not. And I might not have liked that guy as much as, dude, we're over here, we're going to have a blast. Everybody say, hey, you know, like you can't get too emotional in a professional context. Because even though you felt like you had a really good connection, you lose it because you're not taking them along a systematic way of doing things. They don't recognize a plan, subconsciously even, right? So what you heard in these calls today was everybody was taking somebody through a plan. Now, they weren't saying it. Look, our plan is to pick up the phone and we were going to, you know, first identify your context and who we are and what we have for you. And then we're going to offer to send it out. We don't say it aloud. We just do it. And they recognize it as different. There's something different about you. Yes, I'm following a plan, right? So I think, like you're right. When we go to make a phone call for ourselves, and by the way, it's not just you, it's all of us. Pick me, pick me, pick me is this weird mentality that we have because we don't know any better. Nobody's ever trained us to slow down and say, look, you will get picked plenty if you will stop making it about you. Because the minute your brain is saying, pick me, pick me, pick me, it's about you, about you, about you, about you, and not them. Right? I mean, I'm in the middle of a couple of deals right now. And I mean, the other agent must have said their name or themselves or something about themselves 15,000 times. It sounded like in my brain. I'm like, oh my gosh, what does it have to do with us first? We're just trying to put these people together. This is a good thing for both of them. What are we doing here? And that's negotiation, right? So, you know, and even going out and showing a property, you know, one of my listings, a little complicated water access thing. Sellers asked that I be there. No problem. I went down and I was able to really be there and guide, but I wasn't attached to the outcome. I wasn't there selling it. I was there explaining it to empower a decision one way or the other. Right. And it at least led to the next round of questions. But I'm not like, pick my house, pick my house, pick my house. That's either going to fit or not. It's either going to be the right, you know, bundle of goods for the price or not. So I don't have to be so like anxious. I just need to be understanding. Look, I meet a buyer. I explain the product. I walk through the product. I explain its benefits and its features. The price will either hold up or it won't. See where I'm coming from? So it's this concept of becoming detached from the outcome that ironically begins to bring them back into you magnetically. It has the effect that you want many greater fold, right? I mean, you end up attracting way more people. So I think if you can continue in this training to recognize, and this is why I asked everybody to be athletic when you pick up the phone. You're there to serve. How can you serve somebody if MLS isn't even open and you don't know it? See, you're serving yourself with a multi-dialer in the beginning. I'm not saying that there aren't ways to use a multi-dialer and be ready to go, but how can you truly serve that individual in an individual qualitative way when you're just rushing everything? Now you're confused, they're confused, and you get the opposite. Instead of getting speed and productivity, you're actually chasing people away. So I think, especially in the beginning, there'll be always time for something to get more concise, and we have fewer leads and we have more qualitative leads. That's where the speed comes from. And then if we can use a piece of technology to get through it quicker, because that technology tells us, oh, it's Jimmy and Jimmy owns this house, wonderful. If not, you stay away from that speed and you go slower in the beginning, because that's where the qualitative give and go comes from, and your shoulders relax. It's not like, oh my gosh, Paul gave me 10 properties and I've got to get these property, the stuff out. If you go to Jonathan's call, Jonathan does it calmly, but he's so diligent in his desire to please. My experience with folks that come from the culture in the Philippines, they are pleasers. If you ask them to do X, they are going to kill themselves to do X and oftentimes lose themselves, which is exactly what I don't want. I want that adherence to process so it has bone structure, but I want to hear them, which is the suit of clothing on top of it, right? That's what it's like. We all have exactly the same bones, but we look and sound so differently, right? So I think that's the key to remember here. Am I straying from serving them through the plan, right? And then if I'm trying to learn the plan too white-knuckled, am I not listening to them? So the art of the whole thing is that balance, right? Am I sounding conversational without losing my way? And that's the essence of this training here. That help?
Yeah, for sure. I did have thank you for saying that. It makes a lot of sense. And that is the balance that I'm trying to find with that. I know it probably comes with a lot of practice and then just being in teaching.
Doing it. Yeah, just doing it. Yeah.
How do you, real quick, if I could ask, how do you overcome not knowing how to pronounce someone's name? Because I know on the script you're supposed to say it right off the bat. And I found, especially in a city like Seattle, there's so many cultures and there's so many ways to say.
You be human. You be human. You give it your
Can
best
I
shot.
Answer?
Yeah, you may. Go ahead, Autumn.
Okay, Sarah, what I do is generally, if somebody has a completely unpronounceable name, I will maybe make a stab at it, but sometimes that's a turnoff if you've said it wrong and they're insulted.
Yeah.
So what I will do generally is just say, hello, I'm looking for the person. I guess that wouldn't work either. I don't know. I just say, hi, I'll go to the first name. That's what I'm trying to say. Is I'll say, hello, is this John? And sometimes that, and as we get to the end of the call, sometimes I'll say, okay, and how do I pronounce your last name, by the way?
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing. If it's an Asian name, friend up some Asian friends who can help you say, well, how would you pronounce a few of these names, and learn the dialect?
You can go
that's
on
the job.
Google.
Yeah, the job
go
is
on Google.
Yeah,
and they'll show you how to pronounce it.
Yeah, I would start. Look at it. If we're telemarketing and you have an Indian population, an Asian population, and and you don't speak those dialects, or it's not as close as say a Spanish last name could be. I mean, whatever. I could go down this laundry list of people, but I think it is incumbent upon us to try to learn too, to not stay in a state of ignorance. To say, well, look, this is a stretch for me. Let me figure this out. Let me talk to some of my Indian friends. Does Paul know, somebody that can help me with this? Is there a linguist? Is there an app online that if I put the name in, it will speak back to me, and I'll guarantee you there's a yes to that, right?
Yes.
So I think that's a building of a skill set, Sarah, and it's awesome because it's growing you. And look, we're living more and more in an integrated world. And this is the reality, right? So
and just a hint, if you come across the name, and this is for everybody, if you come across the name that is spelled Nguyen, it's pronounced Wen, just like When.
Yeah.
So anytime you see that, it's Wen.
Yeah, but that's my point. I would look for an app that would help with language. I mean, the internet is wonderful in a lot of ways, terrible in other ways, but it's wonderful to that extent. I am a huge fan of using the Google search bar to learn things like this. So what I would recommend to you is I would look for some sort of a free app that you could even put it in there and it'll give it to you. And that's what I mean by being athletically ready, right? I don't know how to pronounce this name. I go to the app, I drop it in, it gives me, how to pronounce it. Now you've just gone up, Sarah, to a whole other level. Right?
Yeah,
because now,
I like that tip.
Well, because now you're being
Autumn real quick.
You're talking natively. It's great. Yeah, Paul. Sure, of course.
It's win. Like I just got the win. It's W.
Yeah, it's N. It's the name that you see often.
I know N-G-U-I-E-N. I'm just telling you how it's pronounced. It's win. Like
when. Right. That's what I was sharing.
You're close. All right.
So, Paul, do you give leads to your agents?
Yeah, we got a round robin going on Commissions Inc. and I've given them access to whoever wants to be, like Danny likes to use the word, athletic. Take advantage of the Vulcan 7 dialer. We're giving them the 70-30, in their favor. Not doing the 50-50. Tell them go in there, call your ass off, and make it happen. So yeah, they get the expired leads. They can do probates. They can do ISBOs, and they get buyer leads. But I mean, it's not a guarantee. I tell them from the get-go that you can count on Commissions Inc. to maybe get you 1 or 2 deals a year. Don't rely on it, or you'll be out of business. But if you go into Vulcan and you call expireds, you'll make money. Hold open houses, you'll make money.
Okay.
All right, guys, listen. I could continue all day, but I have another appointment. Great job today. Fabulous. This is the kind of call we're looking for on these days like this. We got a whole bunch of people in here, a super positive day, just a lot of positives here because people are beginning to get it, that if you stick to the yellow brick system, you can still be yourself and you can combine those. That's the art of the sale process here, or sales process, because it's not sales, it's guidance. So bravo to everybody. And Sarah, thank you for closing it out for me. All right, everybody, have a fabulous, productive weekend. Be safe.
Thank you.
We'll see you on the other side. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Danny, are we jumping
Thanks,
on that?
Danny.
Dino, I might have to postpone me. Let me just double check that I have something about text, okay?
Text me right away because I
will.
got Corey on
Thanks.
standby.
Yep, I will. Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks, Danny.
You're welcome all.
Thanks, Danny.
You're welcome all.